Army of Darkness Forever number 7 leads to triple trouble when Sheila rallies against the Wiseman, present Ash attacks the military, and future Ash gets some bad news. We're going to talk about it right here. See you in 3. All right, here we go. Army of Darkness Forever number 7 is written by Tony Fleeks, with art by Pop Mahan, colors by Brad Simpson, letters by Troy Pateri, and cover art by Bjorn Behrens for the cover A, or the main cover. We'll also notice that in this issue, Pop Mahan is taking over for the series' main artist so far, Justin Greenwood. Before we dive in, let's talk about what happened in the last issue. Future Ash finally assembled all the pieces and pages of the Necronomicon to assemble the book according to the holographic Wiseman's directions. He says the spell, and what happens? Nothing happens, except the book generates a small demonic baby that just seems to say Nictu, Nectu, Nectu over again. And what that revelation leads to is this idea that the Wiseman has really been in service to evil Ash since the Dark Ages this entire time. And so future Ash has been duped, and now he's got nowhere to go. What happens next? Let's talk about it. In Army of Darkness Forever number 7, we catch up with Ash, who now has this sort of demonic baby who's just crawling around eating rats, saying Nictu, Nictu, Nictu over again. He has no idea what to do. After a brief flashback, we learned that the Wiseman became possessed or indoctrinated by the Necronomicon way back in the Dark Ages when he sent Ash back to where he wanted to go, which is his present time, but that didn't quite work out the way we thought it was going to do. He figured he could learn some additional spells that would help defend the kingdom. By using the book, he became possessed by it, because you should never read the book. He read the book, and that led to some bad stuff. So then he was drawn or compelled to try and bring evil Ash back together again from all the different body parts pieces. So he goes out into the forest. He's attacked by the Walking Dead, but he says, "Behold, I am the keeper of the Necronomicon. I'm on your side. I'm here to bring your master back." And that's where we leave off in the past. In the present, which is 1993 as of the time of this book, Ash has been overtaken by evil Ash in Ash's body, and he's confronted by the military. So we have one army of the living versus an army of the dead, Ash and the undead that are following him. And it doesn't turn out so well for the human military, because they're just not used to dealing with the undead, that's for sure. Meanwhile, a little bit further along the timeline in the Dark Ages, Lady Sheila now has the boomstick that was left behind by Ash, and she starts attacking with the rallied troops to try and get Lord Arthur back. But she's no match for the Holy Man with his magic and the dark power of evil Ash, and then that's where we leave it. Pretty much we're stuck, but there's one little epilogue piece that makes it all worthwhile. Ash learns, future Ash, I should say, learns from the robots that are around him that there isn't just one Necronomicon, now there's 3 in different cities across the globe. What that means, we don't know. Where it's going to go, don't know, but we're going to find out in the next issue. What do we like about this issue? There's 3 separate timelines of things that are happening, and 2 of the 3 are pretty good. If we look at the Dark Ages timeline, Sheila is trying to marshal troops and rally whatever survivors are left to stop evil Ash, to stop the undead, and to also stop the Holy Man, who has now been possessed or darkly influenced by the Necronomicon. So she's got her hands full, and there's a really strong conflict that's going on there. In the future, we now know that future Ash has been duped by the holographic version of the Holy Man. The robots are at least on his side, but sort of passive or ambivalent. And now he's got this little demon baby to contend with. And now we have the new revelation that there are 3 Necronomicons out there in the ether somewhere, or just in different cities around the world. Where is that going to go? I have no idea, but at least it's intriguing, it's interesting. The one that really doesn't make sense is the Ash that's in 1993, because we know it's Ash, but it's Ash who's been possessed by evil Ash, and he's facing off against an army. It just feels out of place because it doesn't really connect to the other 2 in any way. It was never explained how he could be in the future and the present at the same time, both dealing with separate conflicts. And we still don't quite know what evil Ash intended in the present, which is 1993. We think that he sent out some sort of magical chain letter via email at the sort of in the early days of email, and that possessed a bunch of people to become now the undead, or to raise the undead. I guess that's sort of a way to attack it. But again, you have the Dark Ages timeline and the future timeline, and they sort of were working together. The one in the middle, which is the 1993 timeline, doesn't quite make sense, but the 2 out of the 3, not bad. So that's a good way to kind of keep the series going, even if, because there's a lot of intrigue and a lot of unknowns about where the story is going and how it's going to play out. What didn't we like about this issue? Again, it's that 1993 timeline. It just sort of sticks out like a sore thumb. It doesn't appear to be connected to anything. It doesn't seem to have a relation to what's happening in the past or what's happening in the future. And the fact that you have 2 Ashes operating in parallel, I mean, different timelines, but in working in parallel, doesn't quite make sense, and we don't know what's happening. So it would help to find some way to connect that middle timeline to the other 2. Now that the other 2 seem to be bonded together now that we have the revelation about the Holy Man being, or not the Holy Man, but the Wiseman being possessed by the Necronomicon. But that timeline in the present, which is 1993, just sort of sticks out like a sore thumb and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's switch gears and talk about the art a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, Justin Greenwood took a break either for this issue for the remainder of the Maxi series, not quite sure which, but Pop Mahan took over. Their level of art quality from Justin Greenwood to Pop Mahan is, their styles are different, but the level of quality is about the same. They do characters a little bit differently, especially with the character anatomies and the figure work, but the compositions are pretty good. The action is pretty good, and we get a good sense of the characters who look like they're versions of themselves from the movies, not in a photorealistic way, but close enough that you understand who's who and what's what. Are either one of their styles, big 2 top tier quality? No, but their style quality is about similar. So even though it's a little bit different, it's not enough of a difference to say, oh, this has got worse or got much better. It's about the same, which is, the best you could hope for when you have an artist switch over in the middle of a maxi series. Final thoughts. What do we think about this issue? Great action, interesting developments. What's happening in the past and the future is intriguing, and we're curious to see how it all plays out. On the flip side, that middle timeline, which is the 1993 timeline, just really doesn't seem to fit or connect in any way that makes sense. Hopefully Tony Fleecs can tie it all together, but we'll see. And then the artist changeover from Justin Greenwood to Pop Mahan is a lateral move, so you didn't go up or down. It's about the same as it was before, which is good. Therefore, we're going to give Army of Darkness Forever, number 7 from Dynamite Comics, a 6.8 out of 10. And it's only really taking the score hit because of that middle timeline that just doesn't make any sense. What do you think about this issue? Are you an Army of Darkness fan? Do you like the Army of Darkness comics that Dynamite is putting out? Let us know down in the comment section. But also, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Your attention would be greatly appreciated. And if you like more reviews just like this one, please stay tuned through the outro.